Shalom, shalom, Yasha Allah, brother Shamariah.
Khan, brother Nasi on the scene. Shalom.
Khan, man, we are SUC, and we got another breakdown for y'all tonight regarding a just balance, man, a just balance. The Most High loves a just balance. So we got we got a quick breakdown. We shouldn't be too long, but hey, we say it all the time, but we will not quench the spirit. This is going to be regarding how, things can seem out of whack, out of balance, but the Most High is perfect. And his perfection, a balance is what keeps the stability in the nation, right? You know what I'm saying? We get Isaiah 33:6, right? First, we want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Right, double honors to the elders of the house of David. Mighty shalom to all the Kadashim scattered throughout the four corners. Shalom to brother Judah. Shalom to the Akwath, right? I look like Sister Napash. Looks like Princess Sister Davia. Shalom to our family, right? You know what I'm saying? North Carolina family, right? Immediate family, right? Shalom to the family scattered abroad, right? So we're going to kick this thing off in a minute. I want to grab this real quick.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 33 and verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times.
Right. So we know a lot of things that we're dealing with in the latter days can't seem chaotic when you think about the different things that are coming to pass as far as the prophecies, the wars, the rumors of wars, rather the pestilence, the media, and how different things are being portrayed. But the law, statutes, and commandments, the word from Revelation, to Genesis to Revelation, with no hesitation, is going to be your stability. It's going to assist you with keeping your mind. Shalom to Nakai the scribe on the scene, right? And the house of Nakai, right? We just want to encourage you to stay within the margin of the scriptures, because it's going to be your stability. When things seem chaotic, you can't make sense of the world. You can't make sense of the things that's going on around you. You can't make sense of family. You can't make sense of different things that may be transpiring around you. Stay rooted in the word, right? Because it's going to provide the balance that you need to endure throughout these times, right? Go ahead,
Ken. Man. You saying a lot, and Lord willing, man, all the Akim can tap in and understand the premise of the scriptures. Like what we bringing out is that just balance, but a lot of times, man, you can kind of grow weary in this thing, man. You trying to balance this. You're trying to balance your finances, dealing with plantation, dealing with Esau, dealing with work, trying to stay in the spirit. It's a balance you're juggling every day, man.
That's right.
But that's why the scriptures is telling you that we're going to go into it on how it's so essential, right? It's so essential in your walk, especially in today's time, to have a just balance, right? To not lean too far to the left-hand side, lean not far to the right, but on that narrow path, man, to walk this thing out, man, and be circumspect in your walk, right? Khan,
man, all praises, man. Eloquent point spoken by the brother. With that said, if you don't have nothing else,
let's get
another precept.
We're
gonna get right into it, man, for the edification of the nation, right?
Right. The brother Nakai the scribe is gonna be on the scene with the scribe work. If you miss a precept, he's gonna drop it in the chat. Right. We're gonna be in the book of Proverbs, starting off in Proverbs 11 and verse 1. It's a classic through the spirit, right? Proverbs 11 and 1, and it reads, "A false balance."
A what?
A false balance,
right,
is an abomination to the Most High.
Now you gotta look at that, right? A false balance is an abomination unto the Most High. When you think about how, now that was the previous precept that the scribe just tapped in, was Isaiah 33:6. Wisdom and knowledge will be a stability of the times, right? But a false balance, what the brother just read in Proverbs 11 and 1, is an abomination to the Most High. So again, understand this. We know brothers and sisters have hobbies, have occupations, have different flavors that tickles their fancy, their fleshly fancy. But you can't let those different things override your desire and your will to serve the Father. So anytime you do that, that will be considered a false balance, right? An unjust weight.
A detestable thing before the Most High.
Go ahead.
Right, that's detestable, right? You got to understand that, and that's where the grace comes in, and we're gonna allow this thing to unfold. And there's a lot of precepts that we want to talk about, but you got to understand that the Most High is gracious. He understands our plight coming out of this world and into this truth, man. He understands that, right? So he's not asking us right off the muscle to just go full-fledged, right? All unclean meats. Grow your beard, brother. Fringes on your shirts off the back.
Right.
A lot of these things are going to come over time, man. And this is a learned behavior. We're coming back to our heritage.
Right.
This is something that we have been conditioned to think otherwise or contrary to. So that's where the grace comes in. But essentially, you're going under the Lord. He's going to wink, according to Acts, was that 17 and 30?
Mm-hmm.
That he's gonna wink at your ignorance. So, and what we're bringing that out is to say that it's a window for when you need to. The Most High is now going to deal with you as He deals with the sons of man, because you might know a little bit more than what you knew prior to coming into this truth. So that's where that just balance comes in, right? And you got to weigh the matters, right? I yield on that. Brother.
And that's mighty that the brother was saying, like, we coming back. Right, we coming back to our heritage, back to our history, back to our identity. Meaning that if we coming back to where we were, who we were, something in your spirit should resonate with who you were before, and it should assist you with that balance. Right, you know what I'm saying? Now, keep in mind, if we're coming back to something, that means that wherever we were, that flesh can override what you're coming back to, because you have more fleshly ways than righteous ways. Right. That's why you have to combat that with the word. It's a constant battle and struggle. So initially, your flesh is going to outweigh your righteousness, because you're coming back to who you were, and you have more comfortability in who you are as opposed to who you were. Right. So you constantly going to be at bay and struggling and battling the flesh and the spirit. But knowing and understanding that, you should be able to realize that, man, this comfortability that I have in my flesh is not where I should be. It should be hard. It should be a struggle. And I have to fight to regain my stability or my footing in who I actually am, as opposed to who I actually should be, as opposed to who I am in the moment right now.
And what the brother's saying is so powerful, man, because like I said this worldly saying, man, like, how do I become new and stay you and be true? Like, how can you become a new person in Hamashiach Yahushua, become new, but you still want to be you? That's going to require some balance. A lot of stuff that you thought who you were in the world, you got to give up. But some of the stuff you will be able through the Spirit to keep, because that's what makes you you. But ultimately, you got to stay in the truth. So that's a lot of things to balance. When you're really trying to, and that takes wisdom. And that's through the Spirit. That's what we're going to bring out today, right? So that was Proverbs 11:1. Right, I'm going to read that again. We'll get the next precept. A false balance is an abomination unto the Most High, but a just weight is his delight. Right, so it's a delightful thing for the Most High to look down and seeing his brothers, or so like his daughters and his sons, weighing matters using wisdom.
That's right.
Right, like, look at Nasi, man. Look at Shem. He could have did this, but he did that. He cleaved to the commandments. He cleaved to the law. Hey, man, that's a just balance. I delight in that thing. Right. Next precept. Right, we're going to be in the book of
Proverbs 16 and 11.
Proverbs 16 and 11. Right, a lot of wisdom going to come out. Proverbs 16 and verse 11.
Pray I'm able to receive it We pray that we're not speaking above our means or above your understanding, but we're going to try to keep it at a milk level understanding so that you're able to receive this, because a lot of us, ourselves included, we're not above reproach. We deal with balancing being captive here in the flesh, and then being able to elevate to your spiritual being or your spiritual person. Right. Go ahead.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, in verse 11.
Mm-hmm.
A just weight.
A what?
A just weight.
Right.
And balance
Mm-hmm.
are the Most High's.
Right.
All the weights of the bag
Mm-hmm.
are his works.
You see that? Go ahead.
Hey, man.
It's real clean, cut and dry.
Mm-hmm. And you know, a lot of brothers and sisters out there, really, what they trying to do, coming out of, you want to come into this truth, but you still want to get the bag. That's tough.
Come on, all right. Come on.
But that requires wisdom, and when you get that, you gotta make sacrifices.
And it's a certain way to do it. Mm-hmm. It's a certain way to go about that. We don't get into it as the breakdown goes forward, because we're not saying be a bumite. We ain't saying be John the Baptist, eat locusts and honey and grasshoppers and dwell in the wilderness and wear what was it, a ram skin. We're not saying that, you know what I'm saying, but we're saying that it's a fine balance between chasing and cherishing the things of the world and putting those things aside to receive the things of the Spirit. Because the Most High says in the scriptures, who can by worrying add 1 cubit to their stature? Right? How can you by chasing and worrying about the bag really increase your bank account? Right? Why? Because we still subject to payments. You still caught up in a worldly perspective that is much bigger than you. You gotta reject this flesh at some point.
Camel fur at the water. Right?
Camel fur at the water. You know what I'm saying? Brother Yasha on the scene. You know what I'm saying? The brother is apart but here in spirit, right? You know what I'm saying? That's my Ak, man. Shalom, King. Camel fur, right? The brother John the Baptist, that's what we're referring to. You know what I'm saying? But you got to keep in mind, though, these things that have been set before you to draw your gauge your interest, to draw you, they're literally distractions. They're only meant to be distractions. So you have to combat these things and focus on the will of the Father in order to make yourself accessible to the Father. Right? You know what I'm saying? He's only going to deal with those that make reservations or preservations for him. That you've taken up your cross, you've put away the old man, you've purged yourself of those worldly desires in order to do what's pleasing in the eyes of the Father. The scripture says, in your patience, possess your soul. It's not going to come easy. It's going to take patience. It's going to take long suffering. It's going to take, rejecting the things that's easily accessed and saying, no, I'm going to wait on the will of the Father. Now, are we saying that the Most High puts an opportunity in front of you to reject it because, no, I'm waiting on God to do it? No, we're saying that have the discernment to know what's from the Most High and what's from the world, right? Because they have different appearances. They have different cloaks. They have different deliveries, right? And when you're in the spirit, you'll be able to distinguish between the two.
I got a quick precept.
Go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 3 from the top, right? Colossians 3 from the top. It says, if ye then be risen with Hamashiach, Yahushai, seek those things which are above. Right? So here you have, right, him telling you, hey, you got to put your eyes on some things that are above. Watch this. Where Hamashiach sitteth on the right hand of the Most High. It says, set your affections on the things above, not on the things on the earth. So that how can I do that, Yahweh?
Give me 2 masters, right? You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, though. Like you can set your eyes on the things on the earth and your heart on the things that are above, and now they're gonna be combative of each other, right? It's very, very hard to find peace within your own members when you pull it in 2 different directions. You know what I'm saying?
It tells you that in 1 Corinthians, talking about how Galatians, how the flesh lusted against the spirit and the spirit against the flesh.
That's right.
They contrary to one another.
And then when you are solely operating in the flesh, you won't notice the spirit trying to creep in.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. You see what I'm saying? When you are operating in the spirit and the flesh tries to creep in, it won't even have a upper hand, if you will, because your spirit is so cemented in what is cemented in. Now the spirit can reach the level of vexation or grow weary based on what it's having to deal with, you know what I'm saying, in the flesh. But your flesh will be able to combat the ways of the world when you're rooted in the spirit.
The spirit will take over, man. You'll be in autopilot, Lord willing, right? This is the two masters, the brothers.
Salaki, but you have to groom that spirit to be able to weather those storms, right? Because if you don't, the flesh is weak. The spirit is willing. It is willing to walk in the spirit, but the flesh is weak, and it will give in to the things that's being offered to it. You know what I'm saying?
You think about like for those of you in fitness world, right? You can't put a 45 on one side of the bar and you put a 10 on the other, right? You doomed, right? Something's bound to happen. You can't put a 45 pound and a 10 pound on one side of the bar and it's gonna be off balance, man. So it's a just balance. You got to be able to understand the ways and the wiles of the devil in the world, but understand and trust and have faith in the spirit.
I'm gonna give you a different using that example. Even if you put 45 on both sides, right? One of your hands is stronger than the other one. So your spirit or your flesh is stronger than the other one, right? So at one point, one of your arms is gonna give out before the other one. Why? Because one is operating in the spirit and one in the flesh. If you got eyes to see or ears to hear, right? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and 24. Matthew 6 and 24. It says, no man can serve two masters.
You see that? Go ahead.
For either he will hate the one and love the other.
You see that? You cannot serve the flesh and the spirit. You cannot be a servant for Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, and an admiral for the world. You can't do both. You got to completely reject the other and receive the one. Now you can comprehend the other one, but that don't mean you have to receive what he has to offer for you, right? You know what I'm saying? You can comprehend, well, I need this in order to sustain myself, my family, but I'm not in the race for this. This just comes with the race. For example, when you run in a race, a marathon, it's people at different checkpoints that's gonna give you, water. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna give you, you got it, King. They're gonna give you a squirt of the water bottle, right? You know what I'm saying? They may even, I don't know. I never run a long marathon before. I'm just being transparent with y'all. But from a spectator, they might give you snacks. They might give you some crackers. It might give you juice, water, whatever you need to sustain yourself as victuals for the race, right? You know what I'm saying? But are you in a race for the snacks? Or are you in a race to finish the race? You know what I'm saying? Your spirit or your flesh can only discern between those two. You have to have an understanding of what you're in the race for. Because whether you're in the race for the spirit or the flesh, the race still comes with those snacks and those checkpoints. But what are you in it for? Are you in it for the resurgence? Or are you in it to finish the race? With or without the snacks, I'm gonna finish this race. You know what I'm saying? But that boils down to what your spirit is able to withstand or what your spirit is able to fall subject to.
And we're gonna get to the next precept, but what the brother is saying too, like a lot of, again, for the fitness people or the fitness understanding, if you could just take this into understanding, a lot of the stuff, you got to have the spirit to go into the gym and work out. But the physicality of it is very, you have to have the physical. You can't just be like the spirit. You can't go in the gym and say, I'm about to lift, you know what I'm saying, 700 pounds. Your physique has to come.
Your spirit might tell you that.
Right.
But your physical, right.
Kind of gotta match that. It's a balance, you know. So that's what we're saying. But that physique, how does it get that balance? It's been conditioned, right? It's been put forward. But we're gonna get to the next precept.
This is Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 35. Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 35.
Bring it out.
And it reads, ye shall do no unrighteous in judgment, in measure, in weight, or in measure.
Right.
Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, and a just hin shall he have.
Right. That's where the root word justice comes from.
And this is going back onto the law. That's why we went into the law to show you that a just balance is the Most High's delight. Now, we got it in Proverbs, the books of wisdom, but those are lammy-backed off the law. The law says that a just balance is the Most High's delight. I'm going to finish this out. It says, just weights a just ephah, and a just hand shall ye have. I am Yahweh, your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe all my statutes and all my judgments and do them. I am Yahweh.
Right. And think about the word balance, though, man. It takes so much. It's applied on all spectrums of your life, right? You lose your pinky toe, right?
You walk a little weird.
Why you walk a little weird, right? You're trying to cook something, all right? You taste it and you're like, man, something off. It just ain't right, right? It's a balance in this thing. Right, everything you can use balance on all spectrums of life. Right.
And what's crazy, you can have a recipe for something, and you love the way that finished product of that recipe tastes. But you may be adding different ingredients, and you might like this ingredient more than the other. So it might be in your members, in your flesh, to add more of this ingredient than the other ingredient, because you like this ingredient more than the other. But the recipe called for a just balance of each ingredient. And when you add more of the other ingredient because you like that ingredient, it throws off the recipe, which throws off the finished product, which alters the taste. Damn, it don't really taste like I had it before. That's because you altered the recipe. You altered the ingredients.
And the Most High, the Most High understands that we carnal, man. As according to, we're about to get that. Right? We carnal, sold unto sin. The Most High know that. We tell a lot of brothers and sisters that too, man, when we meet them on the highways and byways, and they try to figure out, well, what is or who are the Hebrew Israelites? What do y'all do, etc., etc.
Right.
We let them know off the muscle, man. Look, yeah, we Jake at the end of the day, but at the same time, we spiritual. So some things that we learned in the world, we still hold fast to. They're not necessarily worldly, but through the spirit, we can still have a good time.
That's right.
And that's just what this is about. The Lord understands that, look, I'm calling y'all out of the world. Still, you can still be who you are, but I need you to walk in the spirit.
But you can't be who you was. I'm going to read this one more time. I'm going to give it to you. Leviticus 19 and 35. You shall do no unrighteousness in judgment, and measure in weight or in measure.
Come on.
Just balances, just weights, a just ephah, a just hin shall ye have. I am Yahweh, your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall you observe all my statutes and all my judgments and do them. I am Yahweh.
Right. Another word for balance could be used too as discernment. Right.
That's a good point.
Discernment.
That's a great point.
Because a lot of times, man, you're like, dang, it's the Sabbath. I'm trying to do this, but I gotta wait. Oh, it's a new moon. But I know that this. You gotta use discernment. Where does discernment come from? Wisdom. So in order for you to balance anything, you gotta be wise. You gotta know how much that weighs. You gotta know how much that really weighs. If you do that, you gotta understand the criticality that come behind that.
That's right.
And if you do that, is it going to offset the beam? Is it going to flip the scale? If you do that, you have to have wisdom and discernment, right? This is the book of Romans, right? Romans 7 and verse 14. Right, I'm gonna start at 14. So like I'm gonna start at 12. Romans 7 and 12. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just.
And what?
And just.
Meaning fair, meaning equal, a fair, just weight, right? Go ahead.
And good.
And what?
And good.
And what?
And good.
So you won't even know what's good, right? Until you know the law. Because the law is going to tell you what's just and what's fair, what's equal, what's balanced.
The law is the measuring stick.
And you can use the different type of balance beams that's been given unto you, unto the world, but they warped, right? Based on the desires of the flesh. But the Most High is dealing with the desires or the balance of the spirit, true understanding and balance. And you won't know that until you tap into the law. You can think you have all the understanding that you can think of the world, but until you've dealt with the law, the Torah, you won't really know what a just balance is.
Yeah, this is a quick precept.
Go ahead, King.
This is Matthew 19 and 16. Matthew 19 chapter and verse 16. And it says, and behold, one came and said unto him, good master, what good thing? What good thing? What good thing?
Right.
Shall I do that I may have eternal life?
What did Christ say?
And he said unto him, why callest thou me good?
Why are you calling me good and I'm here in the flesh just like you in the flesh? Read.
There is none good.
There is what?
None good. But one. That is the Most High.
That is who?
That is the Most High.
Because through the Spirit, he established the laws, statutes, and commandments, not through the flesh, not subject to partiality, not subject to different desires, but through the Spirit, he established the laws, statutes, and commandments. Read, finish that out. There's some more on that. But if you will,
it says, if thou wilt enter into life,
into eternal life, right? What do you have to do?
Keep the commandment.
Keep the law. Right? Because the law is what, according to Romans 7 and 12? It's holy, good, and just. It's the balance that you're looking for. Go to the law. The law is going to establish that for you. And we don't understand, and spiritual, it says in that verse, right? So if you don't understand the law, then you really don't have the spiritual aspect that you're thinking that you understand. A lot of people tap into the spirit and they try to deal with the fruits of the spirit, but you dealing with it unjustly. And we say that because you don't have an understanding of the law. The law is what fuels the balance for the fruits of the spirit, right? If you don't have a good grip or grasp on the law, you don't really know what that balance is that's been provided by Yahweh, by Shem Yahushua, for the fruits of the spirit. It stems from the law. The law is the seed. The fruits of the spirit bear the fruits of the law, which was the seed. You got to tap into the law. You have to have a good understanding of the law, because we have it in our mind, in our heart, in our flesh of what's good, but we don't really know what's good until we understand what the law says is good.
Right. So what the brother's saying through the spirit, man, is that you will forever be unbalanced if you don't use the law to govern you.
That's right. That's right.
The law is the cubits,
the measuring stick.
Right. It's the cubits, it's the inches, it's the feet, it's the pounds. Right, that's what the law is. Right, I'm gonna get this Romans 7 and 1 and get back to Matthew 19.
Bring it out, King.
Romans 7 and 1. It says, "Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law." So you, in order, Paul is saying, "Look, I'm speaking to y'all who know the measurements, man."
That's right.
You kind of search this thing out. You know what it takes. Even a builder, man, when you building something, or you can't just have such amount of weight on this side, or it's going to topple over. Right. You got some things like on a scientific level, I'm trying to go into my mathematics, right? It's been a minute since I've been to school.
No, come on.
Right, but like when it's rightfully divided in the middle, right? It's called symmetrical, right? Equilibrium, right? These are words that we use frivolously, but we don't really understand the capacity that they hold to what it's really talking about, right? And Paul is saying, I speak to you that know the law. Why? Because you know how to judge what is. The law is what judges things.
How can you judge righteously if you're not judging according to the law? Right? You know what I'm saying? And you know, the brother was bringing out how do you have to have a symmetrical and equilibrium and a just balance. The law established that aforetime. So when you dealing with, Genesis, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, y'all forgive me, I'm still a little under the weather. But when you're dealing with that and you don't address the standards that's been set by the law, you're gonna go into Paul's writings with Christianity with no legitimate stability, and you're gonna tap into what Paul is saying without prior engagement of something that's more perfect than your understandings. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna have a warped understanding. So what Paul is saying is going to throw you off balance because you don't have the footing that was established from the beginning.
And that's what it tells you. That's what Peter tells you about Paul's writings. He says you're going to wrestle with these things,
right?
Because you don't understand.
What's that? 2 Peter 3:16.
Right. And so, but it's just so much in the scriptures. I'm going to get back to Matthew 19. I'm going to start at 17. And he says, and he said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, and that is the Most High. But if thou will enter into life,
into life. If you will enter into life, and we say that because sin, right, is the wages of death. If you're not dealing with the law, then you in sin, and that's gonna lead you to death. But when you dealing with the law, read that again.
It says, and if he said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life.
Into what?
Into life.
When you dealing with the law, you dealing with life. Go ahead.
Keep the commandments.
Do what?
Keep the commandments.
The law, statutes, and commandments. Go ahead, Ken.
And what we're talking about here, this is Yahweh Shah pretty much rebuking them on a spiritual level, saying that you have a preceptual position on what good is. And that's according to the world. But the only way to know real good is to know the Father. And the Father has instituted the law.
The what?
The law.
That's right.
Right? To govern you, to make you good. Right? That's the only way you could possibly be.
The law, an oral law, a dietary law,
moral,
a moral law, the sacrificial law, the civil law. It's so many laws that he's established with just balance, right? That makes sense, right? What is an eye for an eye? I'm just alluding to just something that's in the law. You know what I'm saying? But these things have been established for a reason, right? You know what I'm saying? It's certain things that have been put forward that's above your understanding that you should yield to, right? But I'm gonna yield on that point so we can get further into the breakdown. Go ahead.
I'm gonna finish this up in Romans 7.
I got the next
one. This is Romans 7 and 12. I'm gonna read this and we're gonna get to the next one. Wherefore the law is holy, and the commandment holy, and just and good.
And what?
And good.
And just and good. Meaning and fair and good. Right? So the next precept, this is Proverbs 19. No, Salakia, Proverbs 20 and 23. That's what we want. Proverbs 20 and 23, Nikai. Proverbs 20 and 23. And it reads, diverse weights are an abomination unto Yahweh.
Like diverse is just talking about you got this weighing this matter, this weighing this. You got weights all over the place. That's an abomination to the Most High. You got to use one thing to weigh your balance. you got like think about temperatures, man. Are you looking at hey Siri, what's the temperature for today?
Can you cook everything you cook on the same temperature? What if you put everything on 475? You're gonna have some mad people eating your food, man.
You gonna be mad too.
Right. Because you can't cook everything at the same temperature. Everything don't heat up at the same temperature. Does water boil at the same level that butter boils? The same level that milk? Because everything start boiling at the same. No. There's different temperatures for different substances.
But that's the standard. You got to go to the standard. How is the standard? The law is the standard, right? You trying to see what temperature it is outside, and Siri telling you it's you usually dealing with degrees, and it tell you Celsius. You walk outside with a damn turtleneck on, and you get fried because you're going off of Celsius when it's supposed to be Fahrenheit.
That's right.
Right, you gotta understand the standard. The Most High has said it.
T-shot.
He set the standard, man. Right, you got some more on that?
No, that's it says Proverbs 20 and 23. Diverse weights are an abomination unto Yahweh, and a false balance is not good. So you trying to balance the home life, the work life, the husband life, the servant of the Most High life. Hey man, whether you know it or not, it's a just balance between all those that's pleasing in the eyes of the Most High.
You might not see that it could be one,
but if you only trying to please the work, or you only trying to please the wife, or you only trying to please the Lord, hey man, it's gonna be other things. Now you pleasing the Lord, everything else gonna work itself out. Thus said the Holy Bible, right? You know what I'm saying? But if you trying to please your workstation, yourself, your wife, your children, your friends, as opposed to all these other different variables that are instituted throughout your life, you gonna fall. Somebody gonna get the short end of the stick. But the last person you want to give the short end of the stick to is the Most High. You want to make sure you're giving him his due diligence so that through his power, he may work everything else out, right? Go ahead, King.
Ultimately, we servants, man. We are servants. We got to be servants in our household as heads, lords, right? Fathers. We got to be servants on the plantation.
Your life is not your own,
right? So you got to be servants to your ribs, to your children. So it's very difficult, and it can be very. You can grow wearisome sometimes trying to balance these things out.
That's right.
But the good thing that we here to tell you through the Spirit is the Most High is not unjust. You see that?
To forget your
manner of labor.
That's why it's imperative, because you know who will forget your manner of labor? Man. The job, the wife, the children. You'll forget your own labor that you put within yourself. But the Most High is not unjust that he shall forget how much time you've sacrificed, how much work you've put in bettering yourself and being a better servant for him and following him and being obedient. Obedience is better than sacrifice. So if you're making all these different obedient decisions based on the will of the Father, he's going to create that balance across the board. Maybe that time that you've given to the Father, maybe your children will start spending that time with you. Maybe your wife will start spending that time with you, right? You know what I'm saying? Maybe through the Spirit, your job will give you time off because you're doing what's pleasing in the eyes of the Father, right? You got to serve something that's higher than yourself, higher than man, right? You know what I'm saying? Make the sacrifices that makes the most sense for a higher power, so that he may make reservations for man, you, your wife, your children, based on the obedience that you showed him.
Right. This is the next precept is Proverbs 28 and verse 4. Proverbs 28 and 4. It says, they that forsake the law praise the wicked.
They do what?
They praise the wicked.
When you forsake the law, when you don't keep the law, when you're not following after the law, then you're going to praise the ways of the world. You're going to chase the bag, right? You're going to do things that's complementary to what your job is spewing forward. You're gonna do things that coincide with what your those powers that be around you are pushing. You're gonna do anything that complements the flesh. You're not gonna coincide with the spirit. Read.
Right. They that forsake the law praise the wicked.
Uh-huh.
But such as keep the law contend with them.
But such as what?
Keep the law contend with them.
When you in the spirit and these different worldly things present themselves, you're gonna combat those things with the law. Nah, bro, I can't do this on this day. You want me to work overtime and it's double time. I don't care about your double time. The Most High say I can't work on this day. This day is set aside for me to rest, be with my family, and give my devotion back to Him. It's not a dollar amount that you can get. Well, they gonna say, "Well, I'm giving you double time." No, it's not a dollar amount that you can give me.
But to Jake, that's good.
But to who?
To Jake, that's good.
But to who?
To Jake.
Flesh. Mm-hmm. Fleshly Jake. Hey, that's double time. Mm-hmm. Some jobs is even playing triple time, triple overtime. But the Most High say, "Hey," He said, "They can't put a price. I didn't make this day for you. I mean, I didn't make this this day not." What does Scripture say? The Sabbath's not made for man. Man is not made for the Sabbath. The Sabbath is made for man. This day is for you. They can't tell you what to do with the day that I made just for you. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna give an example, man. Like, try not to be too carnal, but just transparent. Right? I'm trying to apply for this part-time gig, right? Kind of. I'm trying to apply for this part-time gig. They offering like a good. They bringing the bag, right? Hours that I want. Then the recruiters, he come on and she say, "Hey, what about, have you been vaccinated?" I well, I haven't been vaccinated, no, but I can present documentation to show based on religious beliefs that this is why I'm not vaccinated. A couple of days go by, they call me back. Yeah, we're gonna have to continue to go forward with another candidate. They will require you to be vaccinated. Now, average Jake, will you say, well, how much? Right, and they'll go ahead and go down to the clinic and go ahead and get the jab, man. But I had to miss out. Salakia. I had to acknowledge that the Most High's balance is better than my balance. I cannot then sell out, or as it says in Proverbs 7:7, a gift can destroy your heart. You can be reaching for something so much because you really feel that it weighs so much, but you can get it. It does weigh a lot, and it's going to bring you down, right? Rather than exhort you or exalt you, right? So I have to understand that even in the midst of that, me trying to achieve something, put bread on the table, get a bigger bag, if you will, on a carnal level, I have to understand that, hey, it's my job as a servant to do good and just things.
That's right.
I gotta go according to the law, not according to man. All right. So I had to say, hey, okay, I digress. Right. But we're gonna keep it going through the spirit. This is Proverbs 28:5. Evil men understand not judgment, but they that seek the Lord understand all things.
You see that? And that's that just balance. It's some that's not going to understand judgment because they're seeking after the things of the world, right? So when the Most High passes judgments on the heathen, the Most High passes judgment on a wicked Israelite, they don't understand that. But somebody that's dwelling within the law, they going to understand that, hey, well, this person wasn't putting the Most High first. This person wasn't doing, thus said Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. So when that judgment falls upon them, you will be able to receive where they were at, right? You know what I'm saying? Or what the Most High has come to pass based on their works, right? Go ahead, King.
Look, check this out. This is exactly what I was just saying through the spirit. Better is the poor that walketh in uprightness.
You see that?
Right? I have to refuse that jab, right? Because I'm walking in uprightness.
Right? Oh, you talking about the jab?
Yeah, they tried to offer me a bag but they was like asking me if I had the vaccine.
No exaggeration. I had at least four opportunities that has brought me X amount of dollars.
Right.
But are you vaccinated? No. Almost double than what I'm making now. No, and I'm not taking the vaccine. You know what I'm saying? Oh well, hey, we
gotta move on.
We gotta move on. Yeah. We're gonna move on. Ain't nothing I can do. Right.
But that's what this is saying. The poor, right? Verse, better is the poor that walketh in his uprightness than he that is perverse in his ways, though he be rich.
Because Jake, when they say X amount of dollars, how much you talking? Yo, I might have to go on jab. You know, I'm jabbing like
I ain't
Ali.
gonna cap, man. You know, I'm in the flesh. I was cut, but I'm trying to think about what kind of jabs is they out there
right
now.
You gotta store up your treasures in heaven.
Hey man, you gotta seek ye first the kingdom of the Most High.
That's
man.
right.
And all his righteousness shall be added unto you, man. There's no limit to his worth, man.
Because it ain't enough. They can't offer you. The scripture says, eyes haven't seen and ears haven't heard what the Most High is offering us to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. So when we fall subject to what the enemy has to offer, bro, it pales in comparison compared to what the Most High has in store for us.
Verse 7, it says, whoso keepeth the law.
Whoso what?
Keepeth the law.
Or keepeth the jab.
Keepeth the law.
Keepeth the vaccination papers.
The law is a wise son.
Is a what?
A wise son. But he that is a companion of righteous men shameth his father. Right, we're going to keep it rolling. It's going to be in the Proverbs chapter 30 and 7. I'll bring it out here. Go ahead.
Book of Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 7.
Come on.
Next. Proverbs 30 and 7. It says, 2 things have I required of thee.
Right. You're dealing with 2 different things.
Right.
You only got 2 hands. Come on.
We got a precept. It says, 2 things have I required of thee. Deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither food. Salakia. Give me neither riches. Salakia. I'm going to read back from the top. It says, remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, lest I be full and deny thee and say, who is Yahweh? Right? Lest I take the jab and make X amount of dollars, say, hey, man, I'm getting it in, baby. You know what I'm saying? Who is the Most High? I'm working on the Sabbath too, right? Or lest I be too poor and steal and take the name of my power in vain, unless I fall subject to sin and steal from my brethren, right? You know what I'm saying? And so that I may sacrifice. But the scripture says, I've never seen paraphrasing a keeper of the Lord of the law that's begging for bread, right? You know what I'm saying? So the Most High is going to sustain you in those times. It might not be what that jab is offering, right? You know what I'm saying? But you're going to be sustained. You're not going to be a beggar of bread.
Right? He's going to give you what's necessary, man.
And that's perfection. If I give you too much, you might forget me. If I give you not enough, you might forgive me to fulfill your flesh. Right? Go ahead, King.
Right. Hey, brother Judah, you in the spirit. You in the spirit. That's we got the Matthew account. Right. You grab the book of Mark. I'm gonna grab that one too to show you how the brother in the spirit. Right. He got Mark 8:36, but we got the Matthew account.
Right? Okay.
Matthew chapter 16 and verse 16 and verse 24. Matthew 16 and 24. Then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me,
right,
let him deny himself,
right,
and take up his cross and follow me. Right? For whosoever will save his life shall lose it.
Shall what?
Shall lose it.
Right.
And whosoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world?
Gain what?
The whole world.
Everything the world has to offer. You fulfilling contracts. You getting millions of dollars, mansions, cars, everything that the world has to offer. You can gain the whole world, right? You are full to where you say, as the scripture said before, who is the Lord? I got everything I need here on earth, right? Go ahead.
Shall lose his own, so like he shall gain the world and lose his own soul.
But you out of touch with what the spirit has to offer. You don't even know your spirit. You've never tapped into the spirit. You don't have an understanding of who you are on a spiritual realm or a spiritual platform because you've never even tapped into the spirit. You've solely been dealing with the carnal, right? Things that you can see, tangible things that you can touch. So, like, go ahead.
We are subjugated to the law and nothing else, man, to the Most High.
That's right.
We shouldn't make any other compromises, any other sacrifices outside of the law and dealing with the Most High and having a faith in Hamashiach Yahushua. That's just what it is, right? If you doing anything to compromise and to gain anything contrary than the Spirit, you off. Right? Verse 26. It says, "For what is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?"
Do what?
Or lose his own soul? Mm-hmm. Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?
What can this world offer you? What can getting that jab offer you, right? That's going to sustain you beyond the grave, beyond your flesh. Legacy-wise, what are you going to establish by taking that jab for your children's children?
And we're just using this as an example, dealing with the topic that we put on the table. Right. But we understand that you can sacrifice a lot of things, not just dealing with the jab. Right. I'm gonna get this Mark account that he was bringing out.
Same thing.
Yeah, same thing. Mark 18. What's it like? Mark 8:36. Mark 8:36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give? What shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. Right. So the Lord is looking down on you right now, and he is seeing, he is set before you life and death. Deuteronomy 16, man. He set before you life and death. You gotta choose life. Right? Keeping it rolling, man. Matthew, so like you're gonna be in the book of
I'm there. Psalms.
Come.
The book of Psalms, chapter 17 and verse 2. The book of Psalms, chapter 17 and verse 2. It says, "Let my sentence come forth from thy presence. Let thine eyes behold the things that are equal."
That are what?
That are equal.
That's a balance.
So the Most High, and even his children, we are calling for things that are equal, right? That are just, that are balanced according to the scripture, right? We're calling for things that previous precept was Proverbs. What the brother brought out was Mark 8:36. And then we went into Matthew 16:26. And then the previous precept was Proverbs 30:7. The precept that I just read was Psalm 17:2.
Right, I'm gonna read it again. Let my sentence, this is Psalm 17:2. Let my sentence come forth from thy presence. Let thine eyes behold the things that are equal. Right, and that's what it's about. It's keeping your eye on the prize and having an understanding of what good is, and that's the law. Right. Next precept is going to be in the book of Sirach, right? Sirach chapter 26 and 23.
Okay, I'm here. Sirach 26 and verse 23. And it reads, "A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man." That's a just balance in the eyes of the Most High. So a lot of times we see in the flesh, we see, oh, this sister appears to be righteous, or this brother appears to be righteous. Why is his wife going haywire and dwelling in the flesh? Or why is his husband who seems to be going off to all these different doctrines? You got to understand that the Most High looks on the inner man, right? So the things that you see is not the things that the Most High sees. Even the things that you may be seeing in the present time, the Most High still has a way of seeing things that was aforetime. So seeing those things that was aforetime, the Most High can bring judgment at any point. Like it says in Ecclesiastes 1:8-11, because since this against the evil lurkers is not executed speedily, the hearts of man are set to do evil. I'm roughly paraphrasing. The Most High can pass judgment on different offenses toward him at any time. So the fact that you may be seeing that, man, this sister appears to be righteous, her husband appears to be righteous, so it seems that something is off balance right here. You got to keep in mind the Most High is not slack to forget your labor of work, nor is he slack to forget your offenses. So he rewards on his time, not in the time of man. Keep that in mind, because when you're looking at things from the outside looking in, you as man, as a carnal being, are looking at things from your X amount of years, and not even years, but experiences with this select individual. But they have done things that precedes you knowing them, as well as they have done things that the Most High sees that you will never have the capability to see. So if the Most High has brought something to pass, it's because it's just in His eyes, not yours, but it's balanced and it's fair and just in the eyes of the Lord, right? So we got to receive that. And one thing I can say, two things for sure. If the Most High is dealing with somebody and He's punishing them in His time, you better stay out the way, because He'll deal with you for trying to assist somebody that He's judging, right? This ain't got nothing to do with you. This, the Most High say, this between me and Him. So if you get in the way, I'm gonna deal with you, right? You know what I'm saying? So we got to keep in mind that the Most High knows best. That it's righteous to be your brother's keeper or your sister's keeper, but understand that some things that may be coming to pass are above you and above your pay grade. So stay in your lot of your position in certain instances, because the Most High knows a lot more than we know, right? The brother brought a precept. Khan, that's a powerful precept.
What did this man do?
Brother Judah, Khan, bring that out, King.
Khan.
That's a powerful precept. That's exactly what I'm talking about, because as the precept the brother brings out states, not only is it that, you know, what this person or this person may have done, but it could be something being done only to manifest the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. I'm doing this so those that are watching will see them cleave unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and then they be an example of the road to righteousness, right? Go ahead, King.
This is John 9:1. John 9:1.
It's a good precept, Judah.
And as Yahushua passed by, he saw a man which was blind from his birth.
Which was what?
Blind from his birth.
Read.
And his disciples asked him, saying, Master,
what they say?
Who did sin?
Who did what?
Who did sin?
Who sinned? Who went off in this situation, right? Go ahead.
This man or his parents?
Or what?
Or his parents.
Was it him or was it his parents? Because in order for him to be born blind, somebody had to go off, bro. Somebody sinned, right? This has to be judgment. Read.
That he was born blind. Yahushua answered, neither had this man sinned, nor his parents.
Yahushua said it wasn't him or his parents, but what was it?
But that the works of the Most High should be made manifest.
The what?
The works of the Most High, Yahweh, should be made manifest in him. Now,
you gonna get involved in the works of the Most High because you feel like, oh no, that shouldn't be like that. So you're gonna indulge yourself in the course of the will of the Father, bruh. That's just like when Yahushua was, his hour had come to be delivered up, and Peter drew out his sword to slice the ear off of the people that had come to lay hands on Yahushua. What did Hamashiach say? Hey, get thee behind me, Satan. Why? Because the will of the Father had to come to pass. It don't got nothing to do with how I'm feeling or you're feeling. This has to happen. So you got to follow suit, bro, because it's bigger than me and you. Your feelings not even important right now. Yeah, all right, go ahead.
Kind, right.
You grabbed it.
Yeah, I think it was Mark 9 that she was talking about. But we're going to keep it rolling, man.
I got this precept. If you got it, you can bring it.
No, go ahead.
It's going to be Isaiah 45:7.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah 45:7. And it reads, I form the light and create darkness.
Mm-hmm.
I make peace and create evil.
Right, you got to think about what he's really saying right here. Read it again. All right.
It says, I form the light
and
create darkness. I make peace and create evil.
So he's trying to show you that he himself is balanced.
God. Bring that out.
He himself is balance. You mean you can create darkness and light? He himself has to be in between the both. Good and evil. Hey, that's a mighty power to be dealing with. That's a just power.
That's right.
Right. And we say that we can keep going on that. Keep going.
Yahweh do all these things. That's it.
Right. So that's what I understand as far as the Most High. He wants to walk even as Yahawashi Mashiach walked, and that's in perfection. And we got to understand that the law itself makes us perfect in keeping the faith in Hamashiach Yahawashi.
That's right.
I'll say that again. The law and the faith, according to Revelations 14:12, is what makes us perfect in the eyes of the Most High.
And that's mighty, because just like the brother Judah just said in the comment board, if y'all the Most High taking ownership, right? When that molester or rapist gets judged, Most High say, yeah, I did that. When that child catches a stray bullet, or is the reaper of a molester, whatever the case may be, I did that. The Most High taking complete ownership, right? Who are you to question the Most High's methods, right? And this is a very, very, very mighty lead up into the next precept, right? This is Job chapter 2, and I'm gonna read through verse 9 through 10. Job 2, 9 through 10. The book of Job, chapter 2, verse 9 through 10, and it reads, Thus said his wife unto him, Doest thou still retain thine integrity? Curse the Most High and die.
All right, so just because whatever your situation is does not make you who you are.
That's right.
Again, your situation, your circumstances does not make you who you are. Neither, as brother brought out in that John 9, right? Neither is it something that you may have done and got yourself in this predicament.
It's not about you all the time. A lot of people tend to give themselves, even in their life, more preference of or more importance than the will of the Most High.
We can't. The average Jake can't even understand that Isaiah 45:7 that we just brought out. You mean he created light and dark? What kind of God is that? You can't even grasp the concept of who Yahweh is and the understanding of the balance that he brings to the table, the good and the bad, on the left hand or on the right hand side. You that's why it takes the Spirit to give you that understanding, right? Keep going on that, Job 2.
It says, then verse 9, then said his wife unto him, Doest thou still retain thine integrity? Curse Yahweh and die.
Right, because Job, it tells you in Job 1 that he was an upright man. Right, so now she's saying, oh, so you've been upright, and then now all this stuff that happened to you, you just gonna still be upright?
Now think about that, right? My Ruby saying all the time, happiness is what happens to you, right? You know what I'm saying? So if our dedication to the Most High is based on what happens to us, how dedicated are we to him? That means you get out the bed and stub your toe. Curse the Most High.
Yeah. You here for the bread, man. That's all.
You here for the glory, not the story. You know what I'm saying? You want the money, not the honey. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be with the Most High in the bad and the good. Just like those that when we came into this, when we came into the fold, or when we were keeping some of us were still keeping the law, statutes, and commandments when we fell subject to captivity. Does that mean stop keeping the law, statutes, and commandments now that we in captivity? Oh, well, I'm going to freak out like everybody else because we here now. No, we got to still influence them that's going off. If we all fall subject to breaking the commandments, we never going to get out of here. And just like us right now, amongst or amid our captivity, Do we forsake the Most High and do as the world does? No, because somebody has to be the light or the candle of righteousness to lead us out of this darkness.
And that's a just balance, man. It's hard. It's hard to even know that that's who you are. Those of you that's on this stream, those of you who is tapping in.
Hey, shalom to the soldiers of Yahweh, man. Our brothers out of North Carolina. Shalom to Araya, Yawasop, Zahar. I hate to forget anybody's name, but the whole camp, man. The sister Raquel, Zari, right? Zari, Atazawad, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All the brothers and soldiers of Yahweh, man. We love y'all sincerely, kid.
But what I was saying is, like, you got to understand that that's your light. The Lord has called you to be a light. Now you got to understand what darkness is. And it tells you that in Ecclesiastes, I gave my heart to know wisdom and folly. You know what it takes to just...
But see that, look what it said. I gave my heart to know wisdom and folly. I got to know that part too.
But in knowing that, I got to know how to balance the two. You gotta know, like, okay, yeah, that's off.
That's right.
But Jake don't have no conscience. They don't just like, yeah, they don't know what off is. They don't know when to turn it off. They don't know when to turn it off. They just always full place and folly.
That's right.
Right. We're gonna keep.
But knowing the difference between the two is being able to distinguish between the two. If you just know folly, you don't know when righteousness creep in. If you just know righteousness, you don't know when folly creep in. But when you know the difference between the two, you can pinpoint, oh, yeah, this is off. You know what I'm saying? You got to know both sides. That's why when we came into this truth from the world, we have the discernment to be able to establish when the world is trying to creep in, right? Because the Most High was generous and loved us enough to see our error before he showed us our righteousness, right? Go ahead, King.
Let's sit on that. We're gonna keep it rolling.
I'm finished. Just some more on this. I never read this. This is Job 2 and verse 10. I'm gonna read from the top of verse 9. And then said his wife unto him, doest thou still retain thy integrity? Curse the Most High and die. But he said unto her,
what he said?
Thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What, shall we receive good at the hand of the Most High?
And what?
And shall we not receive evil?
See that?
Come on, man. We gotta get both sides.
And that's the preconceived notion of what Christianity and ideologies have painted of what the Most High looks like. We can't fathom that the Most High is good and bad, and he operates on the left hand and on the right hand.
But see that's why we gotta go what? Precept on precept, line up on line, here a little and there a little. Because the scriptures and Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is gonna tell us, yo, it's him doing both sides. And he doing it for his own reasonings.
Right. And Christianity and different other ideologies, they don't want this guy.
That's right.
They don't know this guy.
They don't know what he look like. Never met him, bro. So what the scriptures say, as his judgments, they have not known them, right? It says, what shall we receive? Good at the hand of Yahweh, and shall we not receive evil? And all this did not Job sin with his lips.
Right. And so we bringing this precept out because we understand we're going to have hardships in this truth. Right. But Yahweh Shai Mashiach said in John 16:33, it says, be ye of good cheer.
That's right.
I have overcome the world.
I have what?
I have overcome the world. So we understand that even though we choose this truth over the world, and we in this world, but we not of it, that's that just balance that the Lord is requiring us to walk in. Right? Ecclesiastes 3 from the top.
That's right.
Ecclesiastes 3 from the top. It says, to everything there is a season and a time and a purpose under heaven.
You see that? For everything, there's a purpose under heaven. That's a just balance within itself. Before he even goes into what follows after this, it says to everything, there's a purpose and a time.
And it kind of goes into the temperatures that we were talking about too.
Bring it out.
Yeah, winter, it got to be this temperature. In summer, it's got to be this. In fall, it's got to be this.
That's right.
It's a season for it, right?
That's right.
Reading on, verse 2. A time to be born and a time to die.
Right.
A time to plant and a time to pluck up.
And that's different temperatures too.
Mm-hmm.
When you're alive, your body at a different temperature than it is when it's dead. You know what I'm saying? That's different, bro. Go ahead.
A time to pluck up that which is planted.
Mm-hmm.
A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up.
Right.
A time to weep and a time to laugh.
Right.
A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose.
Mm-hmm.
A time to keep and a time to cast away.
Mm-hmm.
A time to rend and a time to sue.
You see that?
And a time to keep silence and a time to speak.
See that? It's a time for everything. It's going to be a time for you to speak. It's going to be a time for you to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a time for you to die. It's a time for you to die. It's a time to be lively and be alive, right? It's a time to mourn and it's a time to be glad, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a different time and different seasons for all things under the earth, right? Everything has her time, has her mate, right?
You can't always just be one temperature.
Kind.
You can't always. That's why we use a worldly saying. I have to tap in, man, just check the temperature real quick, see how. Because we got to see the diversities of temperatures. If it's up, then it's up, right? If it's down, then it's down. You got to be able to understand where the medium is, right? The medium, and that's the law, the standard.
You can't be happy all the time. Mm-hmm. It's a time for mourning. It's a time to grieve. It's a time to cry. You can't be mad all the time. Every time something come around, you mad. Something laugh. You hear something funny come on. You hear, nah, bro, that was funny. It's okay to laugh, bro. It's not that funny, bro. You know what I'm saying? Nah, that was funny, bro. It's okay to laugh, bro. That was funny. It's different seasons for different things, bro. Right? You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's the same temperature, that's an unjust balance. Because the Most High brings different seasons about at different times, right? I got the next precept is 1 Samuel 2 and verse 6. 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse 6, and it reads, Yahweh killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. Mm-hmm. Yahweh maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. He raiseth up the poor out of the dust, and he lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, and to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are Yahweh's, and he set the world upon them. He will keep the feet of his saints, and the wicked shall be silent in darkness, for by strength shall no man prevail. You got it out.
And that's what, because you can't base this off of your strength. It's about on spiritual, on your spiritual powers, man, that the Most High is giving you, right? So the Most High can raise you up. He can bring you down. He can set you among princes. He can bring you out of that dunghill as we bring it out through the precepts. But it's a balance. The Lord has also too. He wants you to understand.
That boy in the spirit, man. It's a lot. Go ahead.
Right. He wants you to understand that it was him that did it. You just observed the standard, and you was able to see that this was his doing. And it's about giving respect to the Most High, man, and understanding that it's not. He gives the increase, man. He's the one that provides on the left hand, on the right hand side. And the sooner the better. The sooner you acknowledge these things, the better off you'll be.
Because we got to understand, too, the Most High will bring you low just to exalt you, right? And even when you brought low.
And you can be upset with him bringing you low.
You can be, because we human. We in the flesh. Go ahead.
But now you're going to miss out on the exhortation.
God.
You're going to miss the whole exhortation because you were so focused on the bringing down low.
And then you went against the grain.
When
you were brought down low. You can be upset and still keep your foot.
But now the Most High just balance. You upset. You done frowns your face up now. Now you don't refuse the truth. Now what? Now the Most High got to judge you based on how you move.
That's right.
So now you even get a harsher punishment rather than being humble. And now the Most High got to deal with you because you went off. It's like we say it all the time. Like if someone else wrongs you or transgresses you, you have to understand that the Most High is a just balance. If you really serving the Most High in righteousness, do you really believe that He's going to allow this person to trample over you?
Mm.
You got to allow the Most High to do His work.
That's right.
But no, what we want to do. Nah, I can't. Nah, I can't have that. Right. So now you go off, along with this other person who done went off.
Who done caused you to go off?
Right. Now, guess what has to happen? The just balance has to step in the way. Even though I know you've been keeping the commandments and this brother's been wicked, but you transgress, he transgressed. I'm the Most High. I'm just.
I gotta punish. I
gotta render judgment on both of you.
Otherwise, I'm tarnishing my name.
And I'm a false balance.
You see that? And I'm not a false balance. So I gotta get both of y'all. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I yield though. Go ahead.
Con, we got the next one. The next precept is gonna be additions of Esther. Chapter 1, verse 9. Additions of Esther, chapter 1, verse 9, read through 12.
Con. Right. And we're just trying to get to the understanding, man. Right. The water for everybody.
We don't have a whole lot of precepts left, man. I pray that y'all endure. You know, we just wanted to talk about this false balance, man, because a lot of brews, when they come into the truth, they just believe that, oh, I'm in the truth now, everything gonna go my way, or everything has to be done a certain type of way, or the Most High wouldn't dare have be wroth with me, you know, because I'm trying to keep the commandments. I'm trying to, but even with that type of mind state, you're making the Most High a liar, right? You know what I'm saying? Because it says He does good and evil. He killeth and He maketh alive, right? And He does it for His own reasoning, right? It says that Job was a perfect man and upright, one that eschewed evil, right? And he still fell subject to a lot of what man may consider curses, right? You know what I'm saying? But he still, as the scripture brought out previously, never sinned with his mouth. He still kept his integrity, right? He still rebuked his wife. He still exalted the Most High. So with that being said, that's why one of the reasons, or we're alluding to this breakdown, because we have to understand that the Most High is the Most High. His understanding does not have to coincide with your understanding. You don't have to get it. What you do have to do as a servant is receive it, right? You know what I'm saying? And make the best of it and continue to move circumspect. So, like, go ahead.
You want the additions to Esther or Esther?
Give me additions of Esther 1, 9 through 12. That's all I want. 9.
Okay. Right. This is additions of Esther chapter 9 in verse.
That's it. Go ahead. 9 through 12.
9 through 12. Right. It says, and my nation is this Israel, which cried to the Most High.
Which did what?
Which cried to the Most High.
Go ahead.
And were saved. Right. So this is in the Apocrypha. Right. It's going to read the book of Esther. Right. This is the additions of Esther, starting at verse 9. Right. And my nation is this Israel, which cried to the Most High and were saved. For the Lord had saved His people.
What people?
His people.
Read.
And the Lord had delivered us from all those evils.
Read.
And the Most High hath wrought signs and great wonders which have not been done among the Gentiles.
Right. So that might be unfair, right? Because He gave these children of Israel signs and not everybody. Read.
Right. Verse 10. Therefore hath He made 2 lots.
He did what?
2 lots.
Right.
One for the people of the Most High,
and
another for all the Gentiles.
Read.
And these 2 lots came at the hour and time and day of judgment before the Most High among all nations.
Right.
So Yahweh remembered His people.
He remembered what?
He remembered His people.
No, all people.
His people.
And
justified His inheritance.
So you got to keep in mind, right? The Most High is in His perfection when He chose Israel to be His people. That doesn't negate His other creations. That just solidified among my creations, I chose these people to be near and dear unto myself. I chose these people to be special to me. I chose these people for a peculiar treasure. Does that make Him unjust?
Wow.
Does that make Him unfair? Does that make the balance beam teeter a little bit? Not at all. It furthermore doubles down on the fact that the Most High is perfect. And what we should do is look to these people as opposed to question the Most High's methods, right? I got the next precept. It's Sirach 33, and I'm going to start at 7. Sirach 33 and 7. Nakai, Sirach 33 and 7. And it reads, why doeth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun, right? So the sun rises and sets on each day the same way, right? The sun rises and sets among each day the same way. So why is one day exalted higher than the next day, right? Verse 8, by the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts.
Right. Distinguished is another word that we use for discernment, just, balance. When you distinguish something, you really got to look into it to see what is really going on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Distinguish. Go ahead.
Just the way the Most High made each day, and he hallowed the Sabbath. You see that? The sun rises and sets each day just like it does on the Sabbath. But he made the Sabbath and set that apart for the children of Israel, right? He set the Sabbath apart to be sanctified by the sons of men, right? It says, some of them, verse 9, some of them hath he made high days and hallowed them, and some of them hath he made ordinary days. So this day, though the sun rises and sets, it might rain this day, it might be cold this day, but you being in your flesh may not be able to distinguish this day from the next day. But the Most High hallowed this day as opposed to the next day. The Most High made, hey, this day coming up is the Day of Atonement. This day coming up in a week or so, that's going to be the Feast of Tabernacles, right? That's going to be the Feast of Dedication, Pesach, right? The Pentecost, so forth and so on, New Moon, the Shabbat. The Most High made these days and established the difference between them, even though according to men, they may just be ordinary days, right? Verse 10, and watch this, it gets even deeper. And all men are from the ground, and Adam was created of the earth. And much knowledge the Lord hath divided them, and made their ways diverse. Some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them hath he sanctified and set near unto himself. But some of them hath he cursed and brought low, and turned out of their place. You see that? So even among men, some men have the Most High exalted and exhorted and made them special and set them unto himself. And some man have he cursed. Some man has he housed with melanin where the sun strengthens them. Some man hath he stripped them of melanin to where the sun weakens them and blisters them and tries to kill them. Some man hath he made strong and smart. Some man hath he made weak and dumb and based. Right? That's all the Most High is doing. Reading on.
You can read that one verse up real quick. Talking about the
11.
days. Yeah, the days.
The days. Verse 9. Some of them hath he made high days and hallowed them, and some of them hath he made ordinary days.
Right. This is Romans 14 and 5. I'm going to give it back to the brother. Romans 14 and verse 5. One man esteemeth one day above another.
He does what?
One man esteemeth one day above another.
Right. Because you might say in your spirit, or according to your doctrine, or today's Thanksgiving, or today's Easter, or today's Columbus Day, or Indigenous Day, which is on the same damn day. How does that make sense, according to man? Columbus Day and Indigenous Day, the same day. That's folly. Go ahead.
One man esteemeth one day above another, and another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind.
Right? In your own mind, according to your own doctrine, your own belief, your own tethering to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, will you understand that no, this day is sacred. This day is holy. Or you cleave unto man and say, this day is exalted. this day is different, right? But whether that be to the left-hand side or to the right-hand side, each man is going to be persuaded within his own mind, right? We on the corners and the highways and byways, and we telling brothers, hey, today is the Sabbath. But they don't reverence that as the Sabbath. They might cleave unto Sunday. And that's unto their own mind. But according to the scriptures, thus said Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, let the word be true and every man a liar. Right? You got something else out?
No, that's it not.
Picking up at verse 12. Some of them hath he blessed and exalted, and some of them hath he sanctified and set near unto himself. But some of them hath he cursed and brought low and turned out their places. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him, to render them as liketh him best. You got it. All right.
The Most High, it says in Psalms 115:3 that the Lord can do as he please.
That's right.
He's the Lord.
That's actually on here. Cuz, but you in the spirit. Verse 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So look upon all the works of the Most High, and there are 2 and 2 equal, and 1 against another equal, right? Just how they have the so-called Easter, we have Pesach. They have Christmas, we have dedication. They have Thanksgiving, we have tabernacles, right? They mirror our holy days with their holidays, right? Just like there is Edomites, there's Israelites, right? You know what I'm saying? It's fair at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? They have their reign for a period of time. We'll have our reign forever. And according to the Most High, that's just. It's fair in his eyes. With that, I yield.
All right. We didn't write it. We just like it. All right.
That's right.
Right. This is Matthew 13:24. Right. Next precept, Matthew 13:24.
Matthew 13:24. Nakai 24 through 30. Matthew 13:24 through 30.
Right. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13 and verse 24. Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which soweth good seed.
You soweth what?
Good seed in his field. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat.
He did what?
He sowed tares among the wheat.
Read.
And went his way.
And did what?
And went his way.
Read.
But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit,
right,
then appeared the tares also.
Right.
So you got tares, you got wheat. They kind of we did a class
commingle.
Right. We did a class previously to kind of show how the tares kind of look among the wheat. They look symbolical, right? They look symmetrical, if you will, but there's a difference. They're diverse. And so now the good seed, you can't tell what's good because of the bad. But now the blade is going to come up, the trials and tribulations. Where is this are you going to waver in this thing? Watch this. But while men slept, the enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servant of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in the field?
You doing what?
Didst not thou sow good seed in the field? From whence then hath it tares? He said unto them, an enemy had done this.
A what?
An enemy had done this.
Read.
The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, nay.
He said what?
He said, nay.
Nah.
Lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up the wheat.
So if the Most High went through plucking up all the tares throughout the earth, then he might affect the wheat. So he said, nah, just let him what? Let them both dwell in the same field.
Let both grow together until the harvest.
Let them grow together until the day of judgment. The harvest will be the day of judgment. Go ahead.
And in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares.
Do what?
First the tares.
Now go get the tares And do what?
And bind them in bundles to burn them.
To do what?
To burn them.
For fervent heat, thermonuclear fire, right? Go ahead.
But gather the wheat into my barns.
But the wheat, they're going to be gathered until Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai on those chariots gathered to what? Go and inherit the kingdom, right? I got the next precept. It's going to be Leviticus chapter 20, and I'll start at verse 22. Leviticus chapter 20, starting at verse 22. And I'm going to read through 26. Leviticus 22 through 26. And it reads, Leviticus 20, 22 through 26. Nakai. Leviticus 20, 22 through 26. And it reads, Ye shall therefore keep all my statutes and all my judgments and do them.
And what?
And do them.
Come on.
That the Lord, whither I bring, Salakia, that the land whither I bring you to dwell therein, spew you not out.
Right. When he say all, it's not an in-between thing. That's balance too as well. I said all. Do them all.
That's right.
That's the standard.
That's right.
Right. Go ahead.
And ye shall not walk in the manners of the nations.
Come on.
Which I cast out before you. For they committed all these things, and therefore I abhor them.
I what?
I abhor them.
I hate them. Read.
And I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am Yahweh your power, which have separated you from other people.
Which what?
Has separated you from other people.
Right, and that's balance too, man. It's righteousness and it's evil, right? And the Most High has to rightfully divide the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it says. It was that 2 Timothy, right, 3:16, I believe.
Right,
you got to rightfully divide the truth.
That's right.
Right, and the truth is that He chose a holy vine unto Himself. There's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
And He chose other nations to be unholy.
Right.
That's just balance.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it.
How else would you know the way of righteousness if you didn't see the way of wickedness? Verse 25. You shall therefore put difference between clean beasts and unclean beasts, and difference between unclean fowls and clean. And ye shall not make your souls abominable by beast, or by fowls, or by any manner of living thing that creepeth on the ground, which I have separated from you as unclean. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I am Yahweh, Salakia, for I am Yahweh, Salakia, for I, Yahweh, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that you should be mine.
Right, and that's another schism, right? Another schism when you're dealing with ideology. They believe that Yahweh can be so equal, but yet the scriptures tell you on how he is a separatist, how he has instituted a standard, and that there's a left-hand side and a right-hand side.
That's right.
The world they don't understand these things. We go into the scripture and it says it repeatedly over and over and over again. The wheat, the tares, right?
The goats, the sheep.
The goats, the sheep.
The righteous, the wicked.
It tells you the vessel made for good and the vessel made for destruction. It tells you all throughout the scriptures. But yet they want to create everything as all inclusive. He has weighed the matters and said, y'all gonna be righteous and y'all gonna be good. Y'all gonna be evil. So lucky, right? That's it on that. Con. This is 2nd Ezra 6 and 54, classic in the Apocrypha. 2nd Ezra 6 and 54, right? Speaking on this perfection, on how the Most High divided and separated. You see that in Genesis 25, dealing with Jacob and Esau, right? 2nd Ezra 6 and 54. And after these things, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. And the people also whom thou hast chosen. Right? All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which also come from Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing.
They are what?
They are nothing.
They are everything.
They are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. And now, O Lord, behold, these heathen.
These what?
These heathen which have ever been reputed as nothing,
As what?
as nothing,
What are they?
as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thou only forgotten, so like he begotten, and thy fervent lover are given unto their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? Right. So we bringing this precept out to show you that that's the balance of the Most High God. You can pose this question. You can really ask yourself, well, why do they continue to rule and reign over us? Because it's a just balance. It's because this is their time right now. Right now, it's time for Israelites, Jake, that scattered abroad to humble down right now, understand that the Most High is calling you back, right, to your inheritance to start keeping the commandments, which is the just balance, so that when the kingdom is restored, these things won't be taboo to you. They won't be.
They'll make sense to you.
They'll make sense, and it'll be just to you. It'll
rehearsing
be
the righteous act.
Right, but if you don't do these things in the kingdom, you can be like, what the heck? You say what? Trumpet? What is a trumpet? What is that? Damn. Right. So we understand these things as they have been written. So it's a time for everything. And right now, it's time to start gathering the stones, man. We gathering the stones, man. We trying to wake up the hopeful elect so that we can get the hell up out of here.
That's right.
Right. We're gonna keep it rolling.
Ezekiel 18 and 22. Ezekiel 18 and 22. And it reads, all his transgressions that had committed, all his transgressions that he had committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. In his righteousness that he had done, he shall live. Have I any pleasure at all that the wicked should die?
That what?
That the wicked should die.
Come on.
Saith Yahweh thy power, and not that he should return from his ways and live? But when the righteous turneth away from his righteousness and committeth iniquity and doeth according to all the abominations that the wicked man doeth, shall he live?
Right. You done went back to the world. Shall you continue to live? What the Lord say?
And his righteousness that he had done shall not be mentioned. In his trespass that he had trespassed, and in his sin that he had sinned, in them shall he die. Yet ye say that way of the Lord is not equal.
That what?
Yet ye say that the way of the Lord is not equal.
Right. This says in Romans 9, it says, who are you to say to the Most High, why hast thou made me thus? Why hast thou made me thus? As if it was as if you had a choice.
Right. As if the Most High gonna check with you first.
Come on, man.
Before he makes you, let me make sure it's cool with him. I'm gonna make him an Edomite. Let me make sure it's cool with him first.
Like he was bringing out earlier with the lots, man. That's your lot.
Right.
All right, go ahead, though. It's likely.
Con. And now, yet ye say the way of the Lord is not equal. Hear now, O house of Israel.
Oh, who?
O house of Israel.
Come on.
Is not my way equal?
Is what?
Is not my way equal?
Hey, you better be careful, man. Trying to question. Your arms are too short to box with the Most High God. Read on.
Or not your ways unequal? When a righteous man turneth away from his righteousness and committeth iniquity and die in them, for his iniquity that he hath done shall he die. Again, when the wicked man turneth away from his wickedness that he hath committed and doeth that which is lawful and right, he shall save his own soul alive. Because he considered and turneth away from all his transgressions that he hath committed, he shall surely live, he shall not die. Yet said the house of Israel, the way of the Lord is not equal. O house of Israel, are not my ways equal? Are not your ways unequal?
Right. And that's just the Most High trying to show you through the Spirit. Is like
he perfect.
And it says that in Isaiah 55, man. I think it's 5 on down. 55 and 8. It says his ways are higher than our ways. and his thoughts are so higher than ours too as well. So we have to understand that that's the balance that the Most High has set, right? And if you lack, and that's what it
That's
says,
the standard.
that's the standard. But that's what it says in James 2:1. It says, if any man lack wisdom, and go to the Father, man, who giveth upbraidedly, man.
Mm-hmm.
He gonna give you that discernment, that discretion, right, to be able to rightfully divide what the standard is. We yield with that point. 2 precepts left. Let's get it.
Con, this is Luke chapter 11. I'm gonna start at verse 9, reading through 13. Luke 11 and verse 9 through 13. And it reads, I say unto you, ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find.
Come on.
Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened.
Yeah, this is a good precept. Watch this.
If a son shall ask bread of any of you that is a father,
right, because that bread is trying to feed you, right?
Nourish him.
Go ahead.
Will you give him a stone?
What?
Will you give him a stone?
That's off. Your son asking for bread, you gonna give him a stone? What did the Lord say?
Not only is he not gonna be nourished, you're gonna break his damn teeth.
Come.
And if he asks a fish, will he for a fish give him a serpent? Or if he asks an egg, will he offer a scorpion? If you then being evil, right? So the Most High is already establishing us of men as men in the carnal flesh, we are evil, right? So the Most High say, if you then being evil, he's not saying might being, could being, he's saying you are evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children. How much more shall your heavenly Father give the Holy Spirit to them that ask him?
Right.
And you got to keep in mind, that's in the good times and the bad times. The Most High being spiritual, what he's rewarded you for your works is just. Whether you like it or not, it's fair. And it's what you deserve. And it's what may bring you to righteousness.
And that can keep you in a season that you might not feel like you deserve.
Right.
Meaning, like, I've been here for a long time, man. Damn, what you waiting on, man? You trying to figure out, but that's a necessity. That's the balance that I need you to be there right now. If you're not here right now, and I give you that, you're not going to appreciate the level up. You're not going to appreciate because you didn't till the ground long enough, right? You didn't get these spiritual calluses on your hands to kind of thumb through these things and understand the scriptures, man. So the Lord has to put you in a position so that when that you can get it out of the mud. Right? It says, Yahweh was like, man, you weren't with me shooting in the gym.
Right.
Right. But when you have that understanding, you was there. Now when you get to the big leagues through the Spirit, right, it's a balance. Now you understand, like, look, I know what that looks like. And that's why Paul was the best one. Paul had to, Salaki, I wish I was the best one, but Paul, him as a man, he told him, he says, to the Jew, I became a Jew. Right, to the Greek, I became a Greek. To the poor, I became the poor. He knew the balance. I can't just be as a lofty man and go to someone who is poor. Just, hey, you need to get it together. You got to meet them where they at. That's a just balance, right? We're gonna keep it moving.
Quick precept. This is Luke. You got it. Luke 21 and 19.
Come on.
In your patience, possess ye your souls. Right. It ain't always about your timing or what you feel like you deserve at the time. The Most High might feel like you got a lot more growing to do. You got a lot more tilling the ground. You got a lot more long suffering in you.
Just possess your soul, man, right now.
Hey, you gotta be patient. Understand the patience that it takes to inherit the kingdom. And through that patience, Yahweh willing, you will possess your soul. Right? You got it.
That's it. Last precept through the Spirit, right?
In closing, Baba Gashar, we say the water for everybody that endured, that stayed tapped in, that received this. We pray it was edifying. As always, it was from the heart and the spirit, right? That you may receive it and may grow closer to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Go ahead, King.
Right, this is Luke 11 and verse 11.
No. Psalms 115.
Psalms 115, you want that in closing?
Yeah, I just read Luke 11. Psalms 115 and 3.
Select it. Psalms 115
And verse 3.
and verse 3.
I'm gonna beat you there. I'm gonna beat you there.
Right. Psalms 115 and 3. But our power, right, is in the heavens.
Mm-hmm.
He hath done whatsoever he hath pleased.
You see that? The Most High does whatever he has pleased. So whether you feel like this person deserves more grace and mercy, or you feel like this person has burnt his grace and mercy, whatever the Most High has brought forth beyond the earth, it's because that's what he pleased. That's what he has in that's what he sees to come to pass. Who is man to question that? Right. Go ahead, King.
You know, too, like when I came out of the world and I started coming into this truth, I was questioning a lot of times, like, though I have chose righteousness, I've observed wickedness and folly, and I can see some people can excel in that category.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked myself, I was like, yo, that's Ecclesiastes.
You already know, man.
Right. You gotta ask. I was asking myself, like, dang, man, if I'm choosing righteous, I'm always tried down, I'm always getting rebuked, I'm always getting reproved. What kind of balance is that? But the Lord
my brother asked me, it seemed like the ones that's trying to do right, they always get messed over. You know what I'm saying? They're always getting finessed, man. And the ones that don't understand and don't choose the way of righteousness and don't choose, some other choice words.
Right.
It seems like they get away with murder. You know what I'm saying?
Plus more.
They constantly getting over.
And the average man, that's trouble trying to hold fast to this truth, because like you just coming out of the world, you're like, shit, I'm gonna go ahead and start going back to the world. These brothers getting it how they live. But you gotta be steadfast.
But that's not enduring.
That's not enduring.
And that's not patience. That's growing weary
of well doing. Right, bring it out.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 11.
Bring it out.
Because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily.
Right. What is a sentence? A sentence is judgment. Why? What is judgment for? To render justice, a balance.
That's right.
Read.
Therefore, the heart of the sons of men
are
fully set in them to do evil.
Right. You know what, man? That brother going off. Shoot, I'm just gonna go up try to go do this ofteness too. Read on.
Though a sinner do evil 100 times.
How many?
100 times.
Right. You be in this truth and you like, man, I just looked one time. This brother did it 100 times, and what?
Though sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged.
This brother been prolonged in his wickedness. I did it one time. I get chastised, rebuked, thrown under the bus, jammed up, left little homie on stuck.
This nigga did righteousness one time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear Yahweh.
Because if you trust in the Most High, you got to understand that He got something coming to them reprobates, to the ones who know the wisdom and the knowledge of the truth, but they still refuse to hearken. He got a judgment coming for them. But it's coming on His time, not our time. Right. So we pray that this morning out.
Which fear before him, but it shall not be well with the wicked. Neither shall he prolong his days, which are a shadow, because he feared not before Yahweh. And you looking at things like, man, it seems like he just getting away with it and getting away. But to the Most High, that ain't no time at all. Because what I've set up for him is going to make up for all that time that in your eyes it seemed that he got away with.
And don't get it twisted, because the Most High is ultimately proving you, man. And it says in the scriptures, man, it says he has taken the foolish things of the world
to confound the wise.
Man. Don't get caught up in the folly, man. Don't get caught up in the ways of the world and thinking that the Most High is just not, he done turned a blind eye to brothers is going off, that he done gave them a PPP spiritual loan that they can debt relief program, man. That's not what's going on. The Lord has a judgment, and he's just holding these things back, man, right now. So be patient, be long-suffering, steadfast in the spirit to the best of your ability. Keep the law, statutes, and commandments in the faith of Hamashiach Yahushua and endure, man. That's what it's about.
That's right. Hey, with that, that completes our lesson. We pray that it was edifying, the water for all the aqua and the Akim that tapped in, right? We pray that you were able to receive it. With that, I'm Brother Shemariah.
Come on, Brother Nasi.
And we give all honor and glory and praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders of the house of David. Mighty shalom to all the Kadashim scattered throughout the four corners. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom, shalom.
Khan. Shalom, family.